I've got a headache and a sore throat starting, so we make it. But it's the first day of October, which means it's time for Spooky Tims. Yes, it is I, Dr. Xenowatt, and it is once again time to prowl through the dark corners of Xenowatt Labs to talk about the spooky. And obviously, we got to start with our favorite. We got to start with the zombies, right? We've already done some talks about zombies, but both times we were interrupted by a cat. So let's get into zombies. Why zombies? Of all the potential horror apocalypses, why do we fascinate zombies? Are zombies easier to believe than, say, any other potential quasi-supernatural threat? Well, I guess if we're comparing the zombies to other type of undead, zombies are more multi-purpose. You can put zombies anywhere. You don't really have to explain them. Daytime, nighttime, above ground, underwater, in a spaceship. So that's part of the appeal, that they're multi-purpose. They're a multi-purpose foe. The second, of course, is they're us. And we know how to deal with us, okay? Zombies follow very specific rules. And once you know the rules, they're easy to deal with, because they're us. And they have to deal with the exact same things we have to deal with. Like stairs and closed doors and other things that are, everyday nuisances to us when we're alive. But when you're dead, those become, things that are seriously hampering your ability to be zombies. So we know how to deal with us. We know if we shoot a zombie in the head, it dies. At least we hope. We all know the rules. Zombies follow certain rules. No matter what variation of the zombies, as long as you know the rules, we know how to deal with them. All the other monsters, though, that's up for grabs. No two vampires are the same. All the other undead, they're all different. We don't know. But zombies, we got zombies. And third, of course, is that zombies are very visceral. I mean, it's the, biting somebody, eating somebody. It's so visceral. It's so sensual. I mean, how many times do you hear a grandmother say, "Ooh, he's so cute, I could eat him"? It's the ultimate taboo, but it's also like, hey, biting, getting eaten, it's so invasive. It's so horrifying. It's so tactile. I mean, what a horrible way to go. But there's also something very close to home about it. It rings in the deepest, darkest part of our subconscious, back when we were carnivores and eating things live, because we hadn't discovered fire yet. It's ingrained in our DNA, the whole biting thing. So that's another one. And then, of course, there's just sort of the sadistic pleasure you get from shooting a zombie who used to be somebody and didn't like. Oh, yeah, my high school teacher. Blam, to the head. Oh, yeah. Girl who wouldn't give me her number. Blam, to the head, right? So that's why we love zombies. And from a prosthetic/financial point of view, a zombie movie is easy. You don't really need an extensive makeup if you don't want to. A little red food dye and Caro's syrup and some tattered clothes and maybe a little blush, a little eyeliner. You could, make a zombies for real cheap. And you can get people who are willing to be a zombie in a movie for, 40 for 8. Or some will even just do it for craft services just so they can say they were in a zombie movie. So, yeah, it's easy to cast a zombie movie. It's easy to do a zombie movie location. Zombie movies are easy because you could put them anywhere. Just find some place where you won't get in too much trouble for filming. Bam, zombie. This block, zombie. School, zombie. Underground parking lot, zombie. Library, zombie. Beach, zombie. Easy. You don't have to, we don't need a big budget for location. You can literally have it happen anywhere. So that's probably a lot of reasons why we love the zombies. And we can just check our common sense at the door and cheer when the zombies eat the idiots. Like, dude, you deserve to die. I was literally doing it last night when I was watching some zombie show, and I'm like, of course, you're an idiot. How have you lived this long in the movie? So now, realistically, should a pathogen even close to the zombie virus ever mutate, humans are the worst choice. If you're a disease vector and you want to spread yourself as far and wide as you possibly can, and the only way you can do that is by biting someone or injecting your saliva into someone, why pick humans? We are horrible. That's why we invented weapons. Because on our own, we suck. In a hand-to-hand fight between a bare-knuckle human and a bare-knuckle gorilla, tiger, even a snapping turtle, odds are on the bear, right? We have evolved. We use tools now. So if I was a highly contagious virus, I would probably want to spread by something that's far more effective than humans, like birds or mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are the #1 killer in the world. They're the most dangerous animal with the exception of humans. 7 million people a year still die from mosquito-related virus sickness. So mosquito, birds, lumbering humans. I pick, but humans, I guess, are the choice. Of all the animals in the animal kingdoms, we pick humans because, well, it's easier to cast humans than it is mosquitoes. So now we accept the reality that we are living in a universe where the zombie virus could happen, and as a side effect of the zombie virus, of course, is the progressive stupidity. I've gone over this before. My theory is that if we're using the Walking Dead theory that everybody's already infected because it's in the air, and no matter what, when you die, you're going to turn. It's just a matter of, logistics. We can then make the next step that once you become infected, the virus starts working on you. Because the virus wants you to be dead, right? The virus wants you to turn so the virus can spread, because the virus has this stupid way of spreading. While you're alive, the virus isn't effective. Makes no sense, but them's the rules. So obviously the virus goes after our brains, our insides. It starts attacking things to make us better targets. The virus knows if we're stupid, it's a lot easier for us to get bitten and then activate the virus and start spreading it again. So the longer we have characters active in the zombie apocalypse, the dumber they get. We all know some of my favorites, right? Carl in the last season of The Walking Dead. Every character in Fear of the Walking Dead, especially the kids, every single character in the Fear of the Walking Dead should not have survived as long as they did. They were so stupid. But that's what the virus does. It affects your brain. It makes you dumber. It makes you make mistakes. That's the only explanation we could give. If you're going to run a zombie apocalypse scenario, you got to have a rule where every day or every couple days, once a week, they have to make a saving throw. And if they fail, boop, 1 point of int or 1 point of wisdom. I mean, you're still functional. You can still drive a car. You can still perform automotive mechanics. You can still shoot a gun. You can still do all the things that you could do before. But you make stupid choices, like wandering by yourself down a dark hallway that you know is infested with zombies because you heard a noise and you're worried about Susan. Yeah. Okay. So, not counting the quasi-mystical, zombies are basically either virus-based, fungus-based, or chemical mutation base. We have 3 basic types of zombies with a few rare exceptions, but gee, it just got dark all of a sudden. Those are the basics. And we understand the basics of the different zombie types and what causes them. We've got slow zombies, slow smart zombies, fast zombies, fast smart zombies, and then paramutations of zombies. Now, if you're going to get stuck in a zombie apocalypse scenario, And when I say you, I'm of course referring to the general you, not any specific individual, because I know many of you have training and have been in the military and could probably handle yourself in a disaster as opposed to some other people. But just the generic you, generic humanity. If you're going to have a zombie scenario, you want it to be the Romero zombies. Dawn of the Dead zombies, Day of the Dead zombies, Night of the Dead zombies. They're slow and they're dumb. Literally at the end of the first movie, we see them getting killed by a couple sheriffs and some rednecks with rifles. Because they just lumber along. They're easily distracted. Darkness still affects them for some reason. It's only the fact that there's so many of them and progressive stupidity that they even accomplished as much as they did. If the humans were half as smart as they should have been in the movie, it would have been like a 5-minute movie. So, best scenario from a DM point of view, if you want to make it really easy, not that a zombie apocalypse would ever happen, but hypothetically, if a zombie apocalypse did happen, Romero zombies. Slow and dumb. All right? That's the best. That's the best scenario. Chances are every one of us could probably survive a semi-decent amount of time in a Romero zombie apocalypse. Worst zombie apocalypse to be in, 28 days later. Right? They're fast. They're strong, they're hard to kill, they're angry, and the pathogen spreads by any means. If it touches your skin, if it gets in your saliva, if it gets in your eyes, if you're exposed to the pathogen in any way, shape, or form, you're infected, and it's fast. You turn quickly, the 28 days virus. So, worst possible zombie apocalypse would be the 28 days virus. Most of us probably dead. Just because they're fast and there's so many of them and they don't die the way normal zombies do. You got to hit them a few times. Now, 28 days later is an interesting place because are they zombies? Right? Are they? Because the whole thing starts from a thing that the monkeys in the lab were being exposed to, and then the humans dropped the vial, and the whatever it is got in the air. Based upon the way the monkeys were responding and the humans responded, it seems more like the 28 days pathogen was super rabies. And to cycle back to the beginning, if a zombie-like scenario were ever to happen, the most likely, of course, being the fungus pathogen from that video game TV show. But super rabies could happen. Rabies could mutate, and it could become very virulent, and you could get out almost zombie-like plague of just a bunch of angry animals and a bunch of people who are infected and just, revert to this very primal attack anything that moves, because that seems to be what triggers the 28-day viruses. 28 days zombies is the just movement. Just anything. They attack anything. They're always angry. They're always attacking. So, and there's no rhyme or reason to their attacking. They just, I'm hungry, let's go. I'm gonna eat that person. I'm gonna eat that cat. I'm gonna eat that car. And they're smart-ish. So that's probably the worst. Now, though, the CDC would like to once again take this moment to remind us that the chances of a zombie apocalypse actually ever happening are pretty much zero. There is nothing currently in existence, man-made or artificial or in nature, that could spawn a zombie apocalypse. The two closest things are rabies. Rabies could mutate. And the Conophiliatus fungus, the zombie fungus that we all know and love from the video game / TV show. That fungus is real. It is carried by ants. The fungus infects insects, slowly takes the insects over, tells the insects what to do. Once the insects have finished whatever it is the fungus needed them to do, it slowly eats them from the inside. That's insects. In order for the fungus to jump from insects up the food chain to us, it would have to mutate so many times. So yeah, we're not ruling it out. The CDC is never going to say 0% of that ever happening. But the CDC does like us to remember that, the chances of the Last of Us virus ever happening, no. But what about man-made? That's the other type of zombie apocalypse, is we did something dumb. Is there anything we could make that would cause dead flesh to suddenly animate based upon our current understanding of biology and chemistry and biogenetics? I mean, maybe. If somebody really, really wanted to and had millions and millions of dollars to throw in it and an unlimited amount of time, sure, probably, but why? That's a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of energy, and best you're gonna get is maybe a closer akin to Romero zombies than anything else. They would be slow, they would be prodding, they would be hard to control, they wouldn't really do much of anything. Nanites infecting a human host is probably the closest thing you're gonna ever get. And at that point, why? Other than, showmanship, why would a normal terrorist want to do that? There's so many effective ways to slaughter a bunch of people than infecting humans, because again, humans are a horrible, horrible way to deliver a virus. They're far more effective animals. If I'm going to infect something, I'll go with birds or mosquitoes or dogs, not people. Or just make it airborne and it just kills everything indiscriminately. I certainly wouldn't want it to reanimate the dead, because then I've got to worry about that. So, yeah, I seriously doubt it's ever going to happen. Unless something from outer space, or something we didn't know about because it's been hiding in the rainforest or under the ice in the Antarctic. And because we were burning the rainforest, something that's been trapped in there for hundreds of thousands of years got free, or because of the melting of the ice caps, something that's been trapped under there for hundreds of thousands of years got free. Either way, that's again 0.1, but still, it could happen. Now, in closing, because we're almost at our location and we're about to see the goats, why am I doing this? Well, I do it for the same reason that the CDC posts the zombie apocalypse survival thing every year. Because all the tips and tricks and hints and ideas that I would give you for surviving a zombie apocalypse, you could use for surviving any disaster. These are just standard safety. What to do if there's a fire, what to do if there's a flood, what to do if there's an earthquake, where are the babies? What to do if there's a riot, what to do if there's an alien invasion. The tips and tricks that we give with the zombie and virus, because the zombies are fun, and earthquakes are real. Where are the babies today? No babies. Yeah. Well, anyways, if you're ever curious about the goats who aren't here today, here's the coastline goats QR code if you want to check them out. I came here to see the goats and go to the store, but the goats aren't out today. Anyways, that is chapter 1 of our Halloween spooktacular, talking about our favorite zombies. Join me for the next time I go for a walk and we talk about something else, like vampires or whatever you guys want to talk about. Until then, thanks for sticking with me on this meandering. I appreciate it. And we'll do it again. See y'all soon. Have a great day. Stay safe out there.